Hi, my name is Aileen Loo. So I'm an international measurer with the World Sailing and also the chief measurer for the International Laser Class Association, or ILCA for short. And also I have another portfolio, which is the chair of the ILCA Asian region. And in Singapore, I volunteer as the Singapore Sailing's chairperson of the technical committee. So, well, it's a long story, but to make it short, I didn't start as a young sailor. So I started as an adult sailor from the clubs, and I have been involved with volunteering in the organizations. In the 90s, for example, the Singapore Laser Fleet as an official in the executive committee. And also being where I come from, my job was about selling equipment. So I became really interested in the equipment itself, class legal equipment, and how people put up their equipment on the boats and stuff according to the class rule. So it was not until 2008 in the Qingdao Olympics, my job brought me to Qingdao as the equipment supplier for what was called laser then, which is now the ILCA. And working together with the chief measurer of the class, Mr. Jean-Luc Michon from France, together I watched how he dealt with the sailors, checking their equipment. I was on the finished boat together with him, checking equipment. So it came to me like, well, I would like to be that position one day as a technical officer in the Olympics. And I think I can contribute to the class because I'm pretty good with identifying class legal equipment or not. So moving forward, I asked the class, can I learn to become a measurer for the class? So the late executive secretary of the ILCA class, Mr. Jeff Martin, he introduced me to one of the class measurers training course in 2011. And that's where my journey began, learning to become a class measurer for the laser class. And then a year later, I decided I want to move up to become an international measurer with World Sailing. So with the blessing of the class, I went on the path to become an international measurer, meaning attend the World Sailing's Measurers Seminar, take the examinations, and then collect all the credentials needed for the applications. So by end of 2012, I was accredited as an international measurer for the laser ILCA class with World Sailing. Okay, as an international measurer, predominantly our most common duty is doing event equipment inspection at events. We are kind of like the first liner of the officials, meeting the sailors, checking that all their equipment are compliant with the class rules, and they are all ready to race before they get on the water. So usually our duties will start before the practice race, 1.5 days, checking through all the equipment, making sure everybody's compliant, and making sure it's a fair field of play for everyone. Yes. And during the event, we will have checks on the water again, or off the water, to make sure everything is still in compliance. Changes. It's a lot of different class IMs will have different stories to tell. But I think for ILCA class, because we are such a strict one design class, it's just and it varies from different levels, like in the youth event, maybe every year somebody will come up with some weird stuff. that's not in compliance with the class rule. For example, a few years ago, there was a trend to start padding their centerboard casing with transparent tapes that if you don't stick your head inside, you can't really tell. And then people will start coming up with some quirky riggings and stuff, and you have to start explaining to them it's not compliance with the class rule and stuff. So it's consistently evolving, and then as measurers, we're consistently checking and having to, and of course we want to work together with the sailors because class rules need to evolve over time as well. So as a chief measurer of the ILCA class, for example, we want the sailors to tell us things like, for example, if they feel should change over the years, then we can look into it and study it, and if it works for the class, then we will try and work out a class rule change or something. But it varies from class to class because every international measurer, basically, we are affiliated to a class, and we are kind of like the class rule specialists of that class. It's my third term now. So I've been in IM for 12 years. It's not very long among some of the world sailing seniors, the IT, the international technical officials. But for myself, I mean, it's a constant learning process, learning to deal with sailors, coaches, and other support personnel and everybody on the ground at the events, and keeping up with the class rule changes, equipment changes and stuff. I think it's a constant learning process for all the officials. And I've been speaking about this a lot of times this year because I'm also in the educational side of it with world sailing, as in I am seminal clinic instructor. So we always tell people who are interested, for us, because we, like the various discipline of international technical officers among world sailing, international measurers deals with the class rules. And it is, first of all, important that it's a volunteer position. You find your passion, you want to give some time back to sailing, which is really nice. And find a class that you are actively involved with where you are, or the class is actively sailed in your region or your country. Then you can work together with the local class association or with your federation. And then from the path of the world sailing, we have things we call the International Measures Clinic, International Measures Seminar, that's conducted throughout the year in all the regions, and find out where you can go and attend one of these courses, and then determine if it's really for you. That's the international pathway. But at the local level, of course, we encourage people to start with maybe helping out at something like event equipment inspection, whether you like it or not. And then you can think, of course, the more the merrier, the more people who are interested in becoming technical officers in the sailing fraternity. We will always want to mentor them and help them get on the educational path. We would like to have sailors after their sailing career come back to give back, but of course there's so many roles in running an event, championship, or sailing clubs or whatever, that I think anybody who has the interest, we welcome them to come and join us as volunteers, as officials. It's a passion. But most of all, I feel that the friendship that you make with people from all over the world coming together at an event, it's invaluable. And then we grow with the sailors as well, being officials. And it's very satisfying just from my own experience, for example, I've been with the ILCA 6 women's class, the Olympic class, for quite a number of years now. I've probably been to 10, or if not more, World Championships with the girls. So when I see them progressing from youth level coming up to the Olympic circuit, and then I see a lot of the girls in the Olympic circle, in the Olympic cycles, and then going to the Olympic Games with them, it's very satisfying to see them. And being, I think my most heartwarming moments was when Marit Baumeister, the Paris Olympic gold medalist, when she was already confirmed the gold medal at the final day, and she just came up to me and gave me a hug. You know, I am very happy that, you know, this very warm gesture of hers. I think the first time I saw her, 2009 was the first time I saw Marit in Japan, in Karatsu for their Women's World Championship. So we're talking about 15 years. I mean, we do know, like, at the events, we have our roles and boundaries and stuff. But off screen, we also have some very nice friendships with the sailors, and there's some people have communications together. I think that's what makes sailing a very wonderful sport, you know, because if you look at the macro of it, everybody works together for the sport. And then breaking down into various classes, disciplines and stuff, then it's a different little working groups, I must say. But I guess once you're a sailor coming into this big sailing family, it's very hard to leave tomorrow. I'm not doing anything about sailing. It's difficult. And then we're always part of it, and we have friends from all over the world for a lifetime. Yeah. When I first become an international measurer, going to my first event, I remember it was in Europe. It's daunting because coming from Asia, being a female, and I think the first few rounds, people, maybe the, you know, sailors, coachers, they don't really take your word for it because they look at you as like, you know. And there are also some cultures that predominantly are male dominant. So it's not easy, but the strength came slowly. And firstly, of course, when I know my classroom very well, I can speak to the sailors with confidence. And of course, it's a lot of, how to say, mingling with them also, and then slowly gaining their trust. And it takes a while, but of course, with the encouragement from my, you know, colleagues together, all the other technical officers from the class, it takes a while, but we get there. I think now if I say something, I think people will understand that yes, I know all my stuff, and you know they will respect what I say. That said, a lot of females, especially in Asia, because we are traditionally introverts, more shy, and sometimes there's language barrier, you know, among a big crowd. So I always tell the female students to speak up and not to be scared. I think that's the most important of all. And secondly, we've decided, we as in like a group of us around the same age or same seniority, mentoring is very important. We want to help hold the hands of new interested technical officers, because from our own experience, it was very daunting when we walk alone. But when someone more senior, more experienced, give us their guidance, it feels safer. So we want to provide that for the newer people. So I started mentoring some of my international measurers from my class, and I feel quite happy when I have 2 new female international measurers for the class in the last 2 years, and then hopefully there's more to come, and I'm trying to guide a few of them through this journey as well. Yeah. Okay, first and foremost, I think the sport should grow as a whole, not just the female concentrating, but because we have a mission, the gender parity, as we said, the vision, encouraging female participation after competitive racing coming into the technical field. It's very important for the sport. It gives a sense of continuity for sailors, because we want more girls to be racing, to be sailing, right? So if they know after their competitive campaign, they have something still to contribute to sailing, to the sport that they equally love as their male peers. So I think giving opportunities to the newer ones, the younger ones, is important. I think, for example, organizers of events, they should, when they do the planning, consider the ratio of their officials, and give a little, maybe some considerations for a female, 1 or 2 more female spots in the team whenever possible. Each time is an opportunity to be given, then a female officer can come into the event. Otherwise, if people don't give them the opportunity, they don't get invited to the event, they don't have a chance to practice, and it will be status quo for years to come. So my appeal is the organizers or the federations or whoever's have the authority to consider the manpower spread, please consider giving opportunities for the females or the newer, younger female technical officers. Yeah. I don't think I'm a good example with the time management. I love the sport, I love sailing, I love being in events. So I give a lot of time because it's my passion. But so it actually boils down to how much time you want to give. So it's all controllable. I think if you prioritize what you really want during the period, it's all you can control it, because we don't have to go to every event that we're invited, for example. You can prioritize and you can work it out. And then, so it is possible to of course, you might have to sacrifice some birthday celebrations or whatever, because you promised to go to an event or something. But I think it's all controllable within ourselves, and we can manage it. So firstly, I must say I'm very grateful that Singapore Sailing has granted me the opportunity to chair the technical committee. What I really want to do is to work with our local colleagues to bring up the level of technical officers, not just in measurement, or we're talking about the national race officers, the national judges and stuff. And we have a goal, because we know that in 2029 we're going to host the SEA Games. So we want to have get our local technical officers ready for that event, because that's our pride. And hopefully from now till then, we have 1 or 2 more international race officers, 1 or 2 more international judges, and international measurers coming. So next week we have, upcoming meetings, and I think we have a better idea after we attended the World Sailing Development Symposium in Singapore lately. So I think as a group we have a more clear picture of the path that leading to our goal. Now we have a goal, then we can work the path towards it. Yeah. Sailing is a sport for life, basically, I think. Although we don't really have it in our culture, but once you get involved in sailing, it's like cycling. You'll never forget how to cycle once you learn how to cycle. Once you learn to sail, you never forget how to sail. And being part of the big sailing family, it's interesting, it's fun. So I urge all people who are here in Singapore Sailing or around us to come and have a taste of it. If you don't know how to sail, come and learn how to sail. You don't have to be a high-level racer to become an officer or to volunteer in our racing. Championships needs a lot of volunteers everywhere, not just in Singapore, and we hope that we would inspire people to want to come up this international technical officers route. And if you need some guidance or whatever, just come and talk to any of us. We'll be more than happy to help, to mentor, and to bring more joy and lifetime experience to anybody who wants to be part of this world sailing community.
Thank you so much for
You're welcome.
valuable advice.
Thank you.